Hey, how's it going? And welcome to this lesson on the Lancôme project. We are photographing the Lancôme perfume, which is a very popular one. You've probably seen it around. And I'm really excited to show you kind of the process behind things. I already did a bit of a pre-light, so you can see that I've got my lights set up already, but they're not in position. I've also got some really beautiful flowers here, so we're gonna see if we can't get those into the mix and just talk about everything step by step. So let's go ahead and hop into the 3D software real quick just to see a basic overview of what I was thinking, and then we'll start building the actual set. Okay, so let's start one light at a time and see what the set's like. So this is the background light, and you can see it's shining into the back of a scrim with a light pink gel on it. And then the light that kind of makes all the magic right here is the key light. So this is a gobo projector. I've got the optical spot on there, and it's casting a bit of a window pattern onto the background. If I adjust my focus here to be sharper, you can kind of see how that pattern is shining on the table. So when you combine that with the background light, you're getting a bit of that window look, kind of that natural light feeling, and then the pink glow from the background as well. Up here I have a reflector. If I were to turn this off, you can see that that metal just goes completely black. So when I turn this on, it brings that up, plus some fill in the flowers. This one's got a 30-degree grid on it with a standard reflector just to kind of keep some of the spill off the background. So really, it's not a super complex setup, but overall, that's the vibe I'm going for. Super vibrant, super beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and start lighting. Now we've got, again, the lights kind of already around us, but I wanna start from back to front. That's really the best way to do it in almost every case. So that's what we're gonna do. So the biggest improvement to this photo is going to be moving this scrim into place here. You can see that when I move this into place, it makes all the difference in the world. Just like that. Huge improvement, which is amazing. What you wanna pay attention to is the refraction inside the bottle. So you'll notice that anything that's on the left is refracting on the right, and everything that's on the right is refracting towards the left. So this dark shadow right here on the bottle, right there, is caused by the gap of coverage over here. So what I wanna do is push this scrim to the right just enough until I fill in the ugly refraction there. There we go, that covers it pretty well. This is the FJ402. If I were to center this on the composition, you'll see I get like this hot spot in the center here. If I move it off to the right though, I'm getting that really cool glow of light through the bottle. And I kind of want it to be almost like a gradient from one side to the other. So I might bring it over this way just a little bit, and then I'm gonna bring it back so that it fills the scene nicely. And the gel that I'm running on this is just a light pink from Roscoe. I'll put the number up on the screen for you so you know the exact one. But really, I'm just looking at what fits my mood of the storyboard and everything I've created, and this was the obvious choice. Now what I need to do is transition into strobe mode. So instead of letting in all this ambient light, I need to adjust my camera settings. So I'm gonna get to my maximum sync speed, which is 1/250th of a second. Perfect, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my strobe trigger on. I'm using the Westcott FJT1 touchscreen trigger. And boom, looks good. All right, so this is another FJ402 with the optical spot. The power of this light is up all the way at 9 because optical spots take up a lot of juice. So let's see how this looks. But yeah, you can see the background light by itself looks pretty good. The key light by itself looks pretty good, but together they interplay really nicely. They elevate the whole scene up really, really well. It looks really good. But the one problem is that the metal on the neck here is getting a bit lost. It looks completely black, which isn't a good representation of how this actually looks. One thing that I can do instead of bringing in a whole new light is to just bring in a foam reflector. So I just have this really cheap bit of foam board here, and it's gonna go right here, about a 45-degree angle to the set. So let's take a test shot there and see the difference. And there you go. So yeah, that's without and that's with. It looks really nice. Let's go ahead and just pull a flower in for reference. So you can see there the shadows are really dark on the flower side. So we want to be able to fill this in without lifting the rest of the scene because we've already got that where it needs to be. So my initial thought was to just take a light and put it right in front here to kind of act as a fill and to kind of make it, really subtle. And that could work, but you see that it's spilling onto the background a lot. So what I had to do was figure out how I can feather the light away from everything that I don't want to wash out. So I thought about bringing it higher, and that helps, but it doesn't follow the natural look of where the light's coming from that window kind of aesthetic. So I needed it to come from over here. So you can see that I'm now casting light on the flower, but we're getting light on the background. So to fix that, I just feather it away a little bit from the background. So to check that I'm placing this correctly, I just do the plain old trick of turning on the modeling lamp, positioning this light just so it hits the flower, but not the background, and then kind of feather it away. Also, I should mention this has a 30-degree grid on it that helps constrain the light forward. So you can see most of the light is cast kind of to the right side of the flower from this perspective, and that's because I just want to brush the edge of this light up against that flower, just like that. Yeah, there we go. So you can see exactly what that light's doing without the other lights in the scene. I think it works really well. We could get a little bit more punch out of it, so I'm gonna move it closer, and I might point it downward just a smidge more towards that flower. I love that. It's so nice. It's so light and airy and ethereal, and you can see before the light here just how sad that flower looks, and then with that light it just brings it up so nicely and looks so good. So before, after. I don't know if I want to keep the greens on it or not, but I kind of like this whimsical, slightly unplanned approach to things. Let's take a quick test, see how that looks. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. Even in the background, I think the light still looks really good on it. Kind of fill in the gaps here. Something like that works. And I might do a small cluster on the other side. Maybe tuck it behind this one. It's not so prominent. Maybe we'll make this more of a background character. Test shot. Oh yeah, I love that actually. It looks so good once you get it in the actual light. I'm always so pleasantly surprised. Maybe this is one of those things where you just can't go wrong. Okay, last type of flower I have is this one. Kind of settles in like that. Take a test shot. That's cool. So basically I know that the lighting is working really well. Now all I need to do is just arrange everything into a way that looks nice. Boom. That is it, man. I love it. All right, so that's about it for the Lancome project. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to recap real quick, the camera is at 1/250th of a second to black out the room, ISO 200, and we're actually getting a little bit of ambient from the video lights in here, which I think looked nice. And then we're at f5. That's the most important part. That's the creative bit that I chose for the type of depth I'm getting here. Some of the flowers are a little bit out of focus, some are in focus, and it looks really nice. It gives me that graduation that I needed for this particular scene. And then I've got 3 lights. I have the FJ402 for all of them. The backlight is on like power 1.5, just for reference. The key light or the projector light is at power 9, which is highest power, and then this fill light here or the accent light is gonna be power 2. And you can kind of see the distances here. This one's like 8 inches from the flower. The backlight here, if you couldn't really see it, is about 3.5, maybe 4 feet from the scrim. The scrim is just high enough and just wide enough to cover the background and nothing more, because I want to be able to get this projection in here and not take up too much space. I have a reflector at a 45-degree angle, just touching the lens so it's out of frame and casting a little fill, and then also causing a nice reflection on the glossy surfaces. And yeah, I painted this surface material myself. It's just MDF board with a glossy pink spray paint all in one. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed it. This is a bit of a cut down version from the full length one that will be posted on lumauniversity.com. And I'm really, really grateful that you took the time to spend with me to watch through this, to learn, to improve yourself, and to become an all-around better photographer. Product photography isn't always the most exciting, but it is the best way to learn lighting and surface materials. If you have any questions at all about the process, please leave them in the comments below. Also, I wanted to let you know that I have a class coming up with professional photographers of Washington on April 17th up in Spokane at their conference. You can get your tickets at the link in the description. I would love you to come by. It's a lesson on all things lighting and surface materials. So it's basically everything that you need to know to create any product shot. It's going to be an all-day intensive hands-on class, so definitely come on by. If you like this kind of content, please leave a like. If you learned something from this video, I would really appreciate it. And of course, subscribe if you're interested in more videos like this. But more importantly, I have a video right here that you can watch on my Rode Wireless Pro shoot. You're gonna learn a lot of really cool things about reflections in that one as well. So check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.